Hello my boils and ghouls. So today we are taking a look at a transitional Ukrainian plate carrier. What exactly makes this transitional? Well, back in 2014-2015 when the Ukrainian military was first adopting the MM14 camo you see here, there was very little gear that was produced domestically in Ukraine. At the time, the Ukrainian Ground Forces had been using a mix of gear, a lot of it being Polish, Estonian, a few other countries. So there was plenty of gear that was produced domestically in Ukraine at the time. However, they wanted to change over to all the gear being domestically produced. But a lot of the companies that were producing gear domestically were not up to snuff for the Ministry of Defense's requirements. So at the time they were using a lot of these other countries' gear like Valmet, not the rifle, the tactical gear company, using a lot of Helicon techs as well. They switched over to using primarily Temp 3000. And as far as I can tell, this is a transitional Temp 3000 carrier. It doesn't seem to be a Corsair, which is the normal plate carrier you see in battle. I actually couldn't find any manufacturer tags on this thing at all, but it does appear to be made by Temp 3000. I couldn't see anything that was like it made by Ballistica, which is another tactical gear company in Ukraine. Really the only difference I see in this one from the Temp 3000 Corsair is that the plates load in from the rear of the plate bag instead of the front. So this is a two-piece system attaching at the shoulders and the cummerbund. You have a radio pouch up here on the chest, as typical of a lot of Slavic plate carriers. There's a little bit of molly here. These are not for grenades, these are actually for attaching a backpack system. You have 3 rifle mag pouches up front. There's one right here on the side, and there is another right here on the other side. And if you turn it around, you have your drag handle up here, and you got a little bit of molly here for your IFAK. So you can see it's pretty bare here in the back, so it can hold your day pack or your hydration carrier. So at the time of manufacture, outside of all the other countries' gear, they were switching off of a lot of Soviet gear, so the molly would have actually been a new thing for their battle systems. So it pulls open from the side here. You can see a nice, robust set of hook and loop. Moving over to the inside of the carrier, one of the things that you can notice about it is switching over from all the Helicon techs and Valmet plate carriers that they had been using aside from the Soviet plate carriers. The Soviet plate carriers used much larger plates, and the Polish plate carriers used standard 10x12s, which were very popular at the time in 2014-2015. So the way the plate sits inside the carrier is not like your modern plate carriers. There's a plate bag inside of the vest that closes up with hook and loop, and it's the exact size of a 10x12 plate, which were very popular at the time in 2014-2015. So one of the things about adopting this new gear is when they were using the Soviet gear, they were using much larger plates at the time. So when they switched over to the Polish gear was using standard 10x12 plates. So these bags inside are actually perfectly sized for a 10x12 plate. And what's really nice about the design of these is in between the plate bag, there's an internal puff layer, kind of like a puff jacket. It's insanely comfortable. Fantastic in the winter. Obviously, Ukraine has pretty gnarly winters. So another thing that's very typical of Ukrainian design is the mag pouches. As you can see, it's kind of got that Chi-Com style mag pouch there with the strip of elastic going over and the Velcro right in the center there. Pretty simple design, extremely effective. So despite the fact that there's no elasticity to the cummerbund and there's no padding on the shoulders, you can carry quite a heavy load on this thing comfortably without any strain. 5 mags up front, an IFAK on the back, and at the time what would have been 2 10-pound plates. That's a pretty heavy load, and you can carry that pretty comfortably. The plates I use weigh in at about 7 pounds, so I'm using a little bit of a lighter load than they would have at the time. And they are ceramic, so probably a little bit of a better material than at the time. But even when you put steel plates in this thing, it's still pretty comfortable. So one thing that's nice about it, due to the way the hook and loop is staged on the cummerbund, you have a little bit of scalability. So if you're wearing a slick plate carrier and you don't have any plates in this thing, you can just throw it right over a slick plate carrier very comfortably. It's pretty cool. And you can do that with a lot of plate carriers, but due to the design of this thing, it just happens to be pretty comfortable, especially if you're wearing something like some old Soviet body armor or something like that and you throw it right over the top. One thing I like to do is fold the flaps in here, and the elasticity on here is enough to hold the mag in there while you're running, so you can kind of use this like a fast pouch. It's pretty nice. Well, boils, ghouls, and zools, I hope you enjoyed this piece on the Ukrainian Ground Forces transitional plate carrier. We're gonna have a lot more surplus stuff coming up on Ukrainian gear, Soviet gear, a lot of other countries' gear, and some modern gear coming up, so stay tuned. Y'all stay safe, have fun, do stupid.